Welcome to Tijuana. Today we're going to be looking at this brand new release of Tijuana International Airport. And we're going to be taking our Dash 800 over to Mexico City. MAGSOFT published the airport last night, as a matter of fact. So again, brand new. I've never been here in person. I've heard a lot about the airport, and also its very unique bridge that you can see here in the background that connects to the U.S. So U.S. passengers can actually check in to a flight that can depart, that will depart from Tijuana. Tijuana is advantageous in the sense that there's a lot of low-cost carriers here. So you don't have to go to San Diego and fly more of a legacy carrier to travel somewhere. And obviously Tijuana is going to connect you to many places in Mexico as well. Entonces, buenas tardes. Hoy, con mucha curiosidad, quiero ver el nuevo aeropuerto que publicó anoche MAGSOFT. El aeropuerto de Tijuana. Estaba diciendo que uno de los puntos curiosos del aeropuerto es este puente que ven allá atrás, que conecta a Estados Unidos. Pasajeros en la zona, en ese lado en California, que quieran ir a México, tienen muchas opciones de conexiones en aerolíneas de bajo costo, algo que no tienen esa opción en San Diego. Lo que haré hoy es un vuelo de aquí hasta la Ciudad de México. Y por lo que se ve, el aeropuerto les quedó muy bien. Yo apenas descubrí MAGSOFT. I was saying I just discovered MAGSOFT. So I bought Guadalajara and Monterrey recently. I have Mexico City, Puerto Vallarta, and Cancun from other developers. So being a PMDG 737 flyer, I want to just be able to get as many airports that handle 737 passenger ops. Y lo que estoy diciendo es que yo ya tengo algunos aeropuertos de México antes de haber descubierto MAGSOFT. Yo con MAGSOFT acabo de comprar Guadalajara, Monterrey, ahora Tijuana. Y para mí pues me gusta volar el 737 en los aeropuertos donde esté operando en la vida real. Tengo otros aeropuertos por otras empresas de software. Tengo el de Cancún, el de la Ciudad de México, el de Puerto Vallarta, por ejemplo. Okay, so back in the cockpit. Ya estamos en la cabina. Everything is pretty much ready to go. We're going to go through our flows before leaving Tijuana. Ya tenemos todo prácticamente listo. Solo haremos nuestras listas para poder salir de Tijuana. Pre-flight checklist. Oxygen. Oxygen tested 100%. Navigation transfer and display switches are on auto. Window heat. Window heat on. Pressurization mode selector set to auto. Flight instruments, heading set to 267. Altimeter. Altimeter 30.02. Parking brake set. Engine start levers cut off. Pre-flight checklist complete.
Tijuana ground Aero Mexico 738, could you please disconnect the jetway from the aircraft?
Tijuana Tower, Polaris 574, at runway 27 ready for departure IFR to Zacatecas. Polaris 574, altimeter tree 0.0
Before start checklist, flight deck door closed and locked. Fuel pumps on. Passenger signs on. Windows locked. MCP V2 set, heading set, altitude set. Takeoff speeds V1 set, V rotate set, V2 set. CDU pre-flight completed. Rotor and aileron trim free and 0. Taxi and takeoff briefing completed. Anti-collision light on.
Cockpit to ground. Go ahead. We've been cleared for pushback and start. They want the tail to our left. Roger that. Ready to push. Tail to the left. Park brakes off. Brakes released. Brakes released. Here we go.
Starting number 2.
Polaris 574 contact, Los Angeles Center on 128.15. Good day.
Tijuana ground Aero Mexico 738 ready to taxi straight out departure with Kilo.
128.15 Polaris 574. Aero Mexico 738 taxi to and hold short of runway 27 using taxiway Golf, Charlie Hotel Cross, runway 9er Delta Alpha. Contact tower on 118.1 when ready.
Number 1.
Taxi to and hold short runway 27 via taxiway Golf, Charlie Hotel Cross, runway 9er Delta Alpha Aero Mexico 738.
Before taxi checklist. Generators on. Probe heat on. Anti-ice off. Isolation valve auto. Engine start switches continuous. Recall checked. Auto brake set to RTO. Engine start levers idle detent. Flight controls. Flight controls checked and ground equipment is clear. Before taxi checklist complete. Flaps 5. Before takeoff checklist, flaps 5 green light, stabilizer prim, 4.87 units. Before takeoff checklist, complete.
Tijuana Tower Aeromexico 738 at runway 27 ready for departure, straight out departure.
Aeromexico 738, altimeter tree 0.0 tree, wind tree 49er at 5. Departing straight out approved. Cleared for takeoff runway 27.
Cleared for takeoff runway 27 Aeromexico 738.
One of the things they did with the scenery is to add all the derelict planes on the south part of the airfield. That's pretty cool. So you can see all these DC-9s, 737-200s. Estoy diciendo que me gusta el detalle de que hayan agregado las chatarras, los que una vez volaron, estos DC-9, esos 737s. Runway entry procedure.
Cleared ILS 1 runway 9er approach. Cleared ILS 1 runway 9er approach, Polaris 521.
So you did notice I switched to runway 9er. We have a wind straight from the north, very light wind, so it doesn't matter which direction you take off. Taking off from runway 9er will just get us on our southeast track a lot quicker. Decía que cambié la pista de despegue de 27 a 9 para poder llegar más, bueno, salir más rápido, llegar más rápido, cortar un poco de vuelo. Y como está tranquilo el viento, solo viene del norte, a 4 o 5 nudos estamos bien. Takeoff.
Tijuana ground, Polaris 528
Stable.
with Kilo ready to taxi IFR. Polaris 528 taxi to and hold
Thrust
short
set.
of runway 27 using taxiway Hotel Charlie Delta Alpha. Contact tower on 118.1 when ready.
80 knots.
Check.
Taxi to and hold short runway 27 via taxiway Runway Hotel Charlie
Okay.
Delta Alpha Polaris 528.
Positive rate of climb.
Gear up.
Air Mexico 738, leaving my airspace frequency change approved.
Flaps 1.
Tijuana Tower Aeromexico 738 frequency change.
VNAV, LNAV, command Alpha. Retracts off. After takeoff checklist, engine bleeds on. PAX. PAX auto. Landing gear up and off. Flaps up, no lights. After takeoff checklist complete.
Polaris 521 exit runway when able. Polaris 521 contact ground on 118.1.
So my quick verdict is that MAGSOFT seems to have done a very good job with Tijuana's airport. Again, I haven't been there in real life, but I really like the details, terminal building, runway layout, but also just having those extra things like again the derelict planes that once were in the Mexican skies. That's really neat. Estoy diciendo que me gusta mucho lo que hizo MAGSOFT con el aeropuerto de Tijuana. Nunca he estado acá en la vida real, pero los detalles, me gustan los detalles, el edificio, la pista, pero también ver los aviones antiguos que aún permanecen ahí estacionados en el aeropuerto. Muy bien por MAGSOFT. So right now we're just under 3 hours away from Mexico City. Estamos un poquito menos a 3 horas desde la Ciudad de México. We had 2 restrictions here, flight level 6000 and now flight level 8000. And once we clear 8000 here, we should be able to climb to our initial cruise of 370. Estaba diciendo que nos dieron 2 restricciones en esta salida normalizada. Una fue a 6000 pies y esta que estaba a 8000 pies, y ya tenemos el permiso para continuar según el plan. Y nuestro crucero inicial será 37000 pies. I'm also gonna check if we can step later in the flight. We should be able to. Quiero ver si más adelante podemos aumentar la altura. Sí, entonces en unas 254 millas náuticas vamos a 39,000 pies. So in 253 nautical miles we'll switch to flight level 390. Passing 10,000, landing lights off. And just a few of the viewing options, so this is what the passengers would see. Solo demostrando algunas funciones, y aquí está el punto de vista de los pasajeros en el avión. Okay, we're about to pass flight level 180. where we're gonna set the altimeter to standard. Entonces ya pasando los 18.000 pies, vamos a dejar el altímetro en standard 29,92. So as I mentioned, it's going to be just under 3 hours to Mexico City. Mexico City is currently cloudy, 72 degrees, winds 250 at 4. Hazy, typical of Mexico City. Estaba diciendo, el pronóstico para la Ciudad de México está nublado, 72 grados Fahrenheit. El viento proviene de 250 grados, 4 nudos. Igual vamos a aterrizar en la pista 5, es muy normal. Y típico de la Ciudad de México, está muy baja la visibilidad. Entonces nos veremos durante el descenso a la Ciudad de México. So we'll see you during descent into Mexico City. Again, great job, MAGSOFT. Muy bien hecho, MAGSOFT, con Tijuana. Okay, we're back. During descent here into Mexico City. Ya hemos regresado, ya descendiendo a la Ciudad de México. The way the arrival is programmed, right now we're 55 nautical miles from the airport. Con esta llegada vamos a seguir un trayecto que le faltan aún 55 millas náuticas. There is no weather to be concerned with today, so I'm gonna leave the terrain radar on. Especially for those of you who haven't flown into the Mexico City, into the Mexico Valley. It's a really interesting approach. You're gonna see all the terrain that surrounds the approach, and that's why this is a series of turns into the valley. Para los que nunca han hecho esta llegada, voy a dejar el radar de tierra, el radar de terreno prendido, para que vean lo que nos rodea alrededor del Valle de México con esta llegada. Y por eso hay que dar algunos virajes antes de aterrizar, antes de la aproximación final. A very common feature in the Valley of Mexico is the smog in the greater metropolitan area, and you can see it right in front of us. Estoy diciendo lo común que es la baja visibilidad por la contaminación de aire, como se puede ver aquí a las 12. Vamos a poder ver visibilidad muy rápido. Another cool feature here is the volcanoes. This is the national park, Itachihuati-Popocatépetl, a national park. Le digo a los amigos que no han visitado por acá, ahí se ven los dos volcanes del parque nacional, el volcán Iztaccíhuatl y el volcán Popocatépetl. Esto lo he visto varias veces como pasajero, aterrizando y saliendo de la Ciudad de México. So I've seen this approach many times as a passenger, never in the flight deck. And the volcanoes always usually stand out. Really amazing terrain here. You'll also notice the speed restrictions during the approach. Aquí también se destacan estas restricciones de velocidad durante esta llegada normalizada.
Mexico City Airport information Alpha 2000 Zulu. Wind 077 at 4. Visibility 10. Sky condition, no clouds below 12,000. Temperature 26. Dew point 10. Altimeter 29.907. Visual runway 05 left and ILS runway 05 right in use. Landing and departing runway 05 left and
Mexico Tower Aeromexico 738 is 15 miles northwest 13,700 feet with Alpha to land.
Aeromexico 738, Mexico Tower. Altimeter 30.10 wind 136 at tree. Fly left base runway 05 right.
Enter left base runway 05 right Aeromexico 738.
Flaps 1.
Aeromexico 738, wind 136 at tree. Clear to land runway 05 right.
Mexico Tower Aeromexico 738, say again.
Aeromexico 738, wind 136 at tree.
You're done?
Clear to land runway 05 right.
2500.
Cleared to land runway 05 right Aeromexico 738.
Sync rate. 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 Pull up. Sync rate. Glide slope. 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 Sync rate. Sync rate. Sync rate.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Reverse green, spoiler up.
Air Mexico 738, turn next taxiway. Air Mexico 738, contact ground on 121.0.
Going to 121.0 Aero
Okay, to
Mexico
clean up.
738.
So I definitely came in very hot. Managed to slow down and descend. The FMC flight path for the final approach, maybe next time I'm just gonna slow down and descend a little bit earlier than suggested, because it definitely had me high and fast during final. I was able to make some adjustments that are obviously not safe in the real world. But here we are, welcome to Mexico City. We're gonna start configuring the airplane for parking. Estaba comentando que el camino que me dio el computador para esta aproximación terminó un poco alto y rápido hacia el final. Tuve que quitar el piloto automático y bajar rápido y tratar de perder velocidad rápido. Obvio que no haría esto en la vida real, pero igual muy suave el aterrizaje, suficiente pista. Y vamos a ahora seguir los procedimientos para estacionar en el terminal de Aeroméxico, en el terminal 2. So yeah, we'll be going to terminal 2. That's exclusively for Aero Mexico and SkyTeam. And I was measuring the low visibility, so this is what it looks like on the ground. Most of the year, I've been here a lot, and again, smog is very common here. Lo que comento es que esta visibilidad es muy típica en la Ciudad de México debido a la contaminación en el aire. La mayoría del año, supongo. Yo he estado aquí varias veces y siempre veo este tipo de visibilidad o falta de visibilidad. If you're wondering, this rendition of Mexico City is designed by FLYMEX. I got it in the Microsoft, in the marketplace here, just using FlightSim. Para los que quieren saber quién diseñó este escenario, es FLYMEX, y FLYMEX lo encontré en la misma tienda de simulador acá en Marketplace. And the flight did wind up being exactly 3 hours. El vuelo duró exactamente 3 horas de Tijuana hasta acá. I often get asked what traffic program I'm using. I'm using FS Traffic. Still a work in progress, as you can see. When we left Tijuana, there was a healthy amount of air traffic, but the traffic really tends to disperse, especially as the flight gets longer. Because I did confirm my destination being Mike X-ray. Yet, once the airplanes take off, not as many airplanes tend to land, is what I've noticed, but I know this is a work in progress. They intend to publish updates to airline changes, but they also want to add general aviation, and you know, with Microsoft Flight Simulator still being relatively new, they push the service updates. That's going to make this eventually easier. The one good thing about the traffic having dispersed is we don't have this unrealistic approach of two airplanes approaching together, for example. Those kind of errors that you tended to see in the previous versions, also in FSX and P3D when it was other traffic programs. So I'm going to see if the traffic regenerates itself. Estaba comentando que los programas de tráfico aéreo aún están progresando. Y en un viaje largo, cuando uno llega a su destino, a veces no va a haber aviones en el aeropuerto. La única ventaja es que hace que la aterrizaje sea muy fácil, porque a veces hay mucha congestión llegando a los aeropuertos y no es muy real, no es como en la vida real. So we were able to regenerate the traffic, which makes the airport look a little healthier, I guess. I mentioned the updates, so you see behind, well, next to me is Colombia's Viva. Colombia's Viva shut down operations earlier this year because the merger with Avianca was not approved. The updates will take into consideration new airlines and airlines that have ceased to be. So for a few months there'll be some inaccuracies. Comento que el plan del programa de tráfico es actualizaciones para que incluyan las aerolíneas nuevas y saquen las que ya no existen, como Viva. Ahí está el avión de Viva. Estaba comentando que en Colombia la fusión Viva-Avianca fue rechazada por la Aerocivil. entonces Viva ya no existe. Okay, let's go through shutdown here. Brakes off, seatbelts off, APU generator on, A-call off, taxi off. And we'll also go through the checklists. And as you can see, I wasn't able to do my landing checklist. Again, I realized how high and fast I was. And so next time I do this approach, I'll probably just do more intervention. I'm using more of perhaps the level change option rather than the VNAV option, and control the speed and descent rates a little more. There was plenty of clearance terrain-wise to be a little lower. So that way you're not rushing to get down and slow down. Dije que no pude repasar la lista de aterrizaje debido a que estaba alto y rápido. La próxima vez creo que voy a intervenir más durante el descenso para estar más bajo y más despacio en ese viraje final. No había ningún problema con el terreno estaba más lejos que nosotros, las montañas y eso, entonces la próxima vez lo seguimos así. El computador no es perfecto para calcular esto, pero sí, así se va aprendiendo. Esta aproximación igual, como pueden ver, se ve en toda la Ciudad de México, los virajes, siempre se me hace muy interesante esa aproximación, me gusta mucho. The first thing we'll do is ask for some connections here. We want to get the blocks on, ground power, air conditioning, those kind of things, so we can turn off the APU, turn off the AC on the airplane. The packs. Bueno, entonces vamos a colocar los shocks para las ruedas, pedir potencia de afuera. También pedir aire acondicionado. Y la puerta también. So yeah, let's get a jet bridge here from the ground.
Mexico ground Aeromexico 738, could you please connect the jetway to the aircraft?
Aeromexico 738, the jetway is going to be connected.
Okay, ground power on, APU off. Shutdown checklist, fuel pumps off, probe heat off, hydraulic panel set, flaps up, parking brake, chocks are on, so parking brake off. Engine start levers cut off, weather radar off. Shutdown checklist complete. Secure checklist IRS off, emergency exit lights off, window heat off, packs off, secure checklist complete. Okay, so thanks for watching this Tijuana, Mexico City route. Again, I really like what they did with the new Tijuana airport. A great job, and I also enjoyed this rendition of Mexico City. So two good points in Mexico: to have realistic scenery on takeoff and landing. Definitely makes it more realistic. And when you have been to these places, I mentioned I haven't been to Tijuana, but I have been to Mexico City many times. It really ups that realism aspect. Les quería dar las gracias a los que vieron el video. Me gusta mucho ver tantas empresas desarrollando los aeropuertos diferentes. Excelente lo de Tijuana, la primera vez que lo veo. Y de la Ciudad de México también he volado en la vida real, pero el de simulador también lo he hecho un par de veces. Me gusta mucho. Les queda muy bueno, habiendo estado acá. Me gusta mucho el realismo que reproduce esto. Entonces nos veremos en la próxima. So I will see you in the next flight.